Hello everyone, welcome to Invisible Walls episode number 283, the penultimate episode it turns out. I'm your host Kyle Bossman. I'm joined by Daniel Bloodworth,
Hey.
Elise Willems,
Hey.
and Brandon Jones.
Hey.
Welcome everyone to Invisible Walls. I guess we should cover this first. This is the second to last episode of Invisible Walls ever.
And we didn't know that? Do we know that? Is that
Nobody else knew that.
Is that an epic
This
announcement?
is, yeah, actually we're introducing this to the audience for the first time. This is new news to them.
I thought Ryan announced it in the.
No.
No,
So
so
we were
like,
going to change things
Marcus
up.
announced he was
Format.
leaving, and so the changes were coming.
Yeah, and so
to
what
the
happened
walls.
actually is on the last episode, Ryan said in the comments, just like, hey, let us know how to fix it. And so we read all those comments. And so a big new show is in the works. We're not just canceling all shows on GameTrailers. There's a big new one.
We actually killed the old show, and right now we're kind of in like the limbo between.
Yeah. This is
This is
purgatory.
just
The
kind
way,
of like.
the way I thought about it is it's like, we're like walking invisible walls across the street. Like Invisible Walls is an old
But
lady.
how many of these
It's
shirts
the
do we
death
have?
rattle.
That's what I want to know.
That's a collector's item now, yeah. So please don't lament the loss of Invisible Walls too much because we're just doing newer things.
But what will be coming is non-invisible walls. It's not just like a
Right.
reinvention of Invisible Walls. It is actually going to be a new show.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I think Shane Satterfield and Marcus are not around, and I think that was kind of their show to begin with, and so it's probably best for. We have a lot of new blood here at GT, and so well, new and old blood, and so it's nice, yeah, I think to start things fresh and with a clean slate. And I'm really excited about a lot of the ideas that came up.
Cool. So, I mean, until then, let's do Invisible Walls. Let's do it. Big news this week. CES was this week. Biggest news, I think. Sony announced at CES that the PlayStation 4 has sold through to consumers 4.2 million units.
Yay.
Yeah. Good
As
stuff.
of December 28th. And the day before that, Microsoft announced that the Xbox One had sold over 3 million units to consumers worldwide by the end of 2013.
Yay.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Both of those
Next gen
consoles
wins.
sold
Yay.
better than any other consoles
Yeah.
ever. Both of them.
Well, both of them made more than any other console, so that's kind of the weird thing to compare. Because,
So you just
like,
mean production-wise? They
Yeah,
made
yeah.
more.
Yeah,
Like,
units.
the Wii would have certainly sold more if they had made more.
Yeah.
So.
Well, not certainly, but yeah, definitely like.
pretty much.
It's crazy that they were able to.
Because they were
produce that
sold
much.
out for like a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like, what do you think that means? So you think that is production? That is the reason why there's 3 and 4.2 million sold?
I think that's the biggest reason. But obviously there's a huge amount of demand, thankfully.
Yeah, I think we're different. I think like the world is different now. I think that people are more willing to spend a lot of money on video games these days, which is crazy.
Well, I think the other thing that's weird to me, because a lot of people criticize like how Nintendo makes hardware, but I think Nintendo is still kind of operating in this period of like a console should be $200, whereas like Sony and Microsoft just kind of like just threw that out the window.
Yeah,
and especially now like stuff's at iPad, like people are just spending a lot of money on stuff. So like, okay, we'll charge $400, $500, and people are down for that.
Yeah.
Especially when you're packaging it as an all-in-one entertainment unit for your home. So people are gaming, but then they're thinking of their kids.
like that's a
and
value. This is what they're thinking,
They're
right?
thinking there's a encompassing value here.
But see,
I
that's
don't
the thing.
necessarily agree, but
Like again, like going back to like to the iPad thing. Like I don't know that people really sit down and think like, oh, I can do all of this stuff with it. It's just like, no, this is a hot thing. I'm going to get one because I want to get one. It's new.
I don't think our moms are saying that. I think plenty of moms have iPads. I think moms are like, oh, like, this is useful. I think they do think that. Brandon, this difference, the PS4 is winning
Yes.
by at least 1.2 million consoles.
Yes.
Will the Xbox One ever recover?
Well, recover's a strong word.
Yeah, no.
You're trying to.
I gotta be
explain this,
dramatic.
Kyle.
Yeah, I gotta be dramatic.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think they both did a really great job. So
Yeah.
I think I'm not surprised that Sony was in the lead. I'm maybe surprised that the gap was as small as it is between the two consoles, considering the Xbox is more expensive.
Right.
It didn't get as good a press.
it's not available in as many territories worldwide.
That's true, yeah, that's
Don't
right.
even- no, that's.
It's true, Kyle.
I
You
know it
can't-
is.
you-
I
you
know it
can't-
is.
But
you
it's
can't
also-
avoid
It's
it.
like,
But there's also like, yeah, I mean,
It's availability.
Microsoft has definitely had a gigantic marketing push. Like I
Yeah.
remember, like I
Yeah.
forget one of the networks, like they had like all of their TV shows in the dumb little Xbox windows, between breaks and stuff like that. So, yeah, they've definitely been pushing the Xbox really hard to be the must-have thing on TV and all over the place.
Yeah, it's also, I mean, it's scary to see how many images there are of stacked up Xbox Ones at stores.
Yeah.
Those are scary things.
Well, yeah, that's where you hit the funny thing, is that you get all those anecdotal shots of like the empty PS4 case and the full Xbox case.
Yeah. I don't know. It's probably time for a price cut. Anyway, also at CES, Sony's Andrew House unveiled PlayStation Now, the streaming game service that will provide instant access to games library from previous generations, including PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3. Basically, that's what Gaikai turned into, PlayStation Now.
Yeah.
PSN.
What about PSN? What?
PSN, we're calling it.
Oh, well, we call PlayStation Network PSN.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that's confusing.
Yeah, so like it's PSN.
PS New and PS Now.
How excited are we at this table? How excited are all of you for PlayStation Now?
I want this for everything. Everything.
Yeah?
You name the brand, I want it for this. I want it for games. I want it for TV. I want it for film.
Yeah.
For everything, forever and ever. And it's just going to take a long time for us to get there for every
Well,
brand to be like, okay.
I think that there are two major questions.
Okay.
Number one is, okay, how does this work off of a show floor? You know, like, because I would not be surprised if there was just some server in the back room of CES somewhere that's just dishing all this out across,
well,
you know,
it's
100
clearly
yards
going to work
of
better at
space.
CES than it is
Yeah.
in real life.
The other thing is, you know, when we're talking about subscriptions and things like that, well, we just all ponied up for a PS Plus subscription.
Mm-hmm.
You know, does that give us any kind of discount on PlayStation Now or anything? Are we going to pay another subscription on top of that?
Yeah, so to fill everyone in, there's two ways to use PlayStation Now. There's subscription, which I don't think it gives you access to everything. They announced it'll give you
Yeah, that's a
it'll
weird
s-
thing too. Yeah.
You know, you'll have some selection. Or you can rent individually, and I think you can buy individually as well.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing that I wasn't clear on, because I don't think they ever used the term buy.
They never use the term buy.
Yeah,
They
so
always
there
use
was
rent.
always rent. So
Yeah,
is
that is really strange.
rent have time limits, and how long are those time limits? You know, because that's not something that, you know, like unless you give somebody like a 2-month rental, it doesn't make sense to have a, you know, tier for every game. Like you can't just like rent
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 13 for 3 days.
Brandon, I got to be honest. I don't like the future that you want.
But even the things you're talking about, even these policy changes are going to change if people don't like it. If it's not making money for them, they're going to change their policies. You know, Microsoft just did that. They really wanted to reel in, you know, the privacy, you know,
But I've
security concerns and stuff.
I've
and people
seen
said, oh,
your-
we don't want to do that. And so they're like, okay, well, we won't do that because we want to make money. And so if people aren't renting, you know, and there's a huge, backlash that people really want to own these games,
But
then
they'll
change the
never,
service.
they'll never, I feel like, own them if it's just getting. Brandon, you have the most enviable PlayStation 1 binder, just like a binder that's full of PS1
Right.
games that you can flip through, and like all these. You don't like value that collection? Does that mean nothing to you?
No, it does, and which is why the future that I envision is that I buy Jumping Flash and I own Jumping Flash. Period. Like I own Resident Evil. Period. I have a you know gentleman's agreement between myself and Capcom and Sony that I own the rights to play this game on the Vita, on the PlayStation 4, on anything ever. You know, for the rest of time.
But I think that may be why they're using the term rent instead of buy.
Yeah.
Because look at all these services. Look at Netflix. Look at Virtual Console. Look at XBLA. Games are getting pulled and videos are getting pulled down all the time. You know, like rights expire from whoever, and that stuff comes
very
off of the
recent
service.
example.
That makes
is
them
that-
more valuable, though, in that they don't exist forever. Like this is something that if you know you can only play it for 3 months, you're going to play it.
Right.
In terms of like backwards compatibility, I am all for this, just because for the realistic purpose of I can't have like 10 consoles in my living room.
Yeah.
But I can put my PS4 in there and move my PS3 into my bedroom, and then, you know, I still have that option. Whereas right now, there's, you know, you're pretty limited in what you can do.
Especially if you have a PS3 that can't play PS2 games.
Oh,
Then you
which I
got
don't.
all those things. Yeah, exactly. Man, I just feel like I'm never gonna unplug my PS3.
It's hard.
Yeah, and just I love going to Game Dude and buying a PlayStation 1 game that still feels good and like having a case and everything.
Yeah.
It's really, I don't know, it'd be really hard for me to convert. Do you all feel, though, that PlayStation Now is another advantage for Sony? Do you think this is a significant thing opposed to the Xbox One, which
Oh,
does
absolutely.
not have a service
Yeah.
like this?
I mean, that's just going to be, you know, again, another draw. I mean, the thing, too, is that, you know, PlayStation already kind of has an automatic advantage in that, you know, they have a much longer catalog to draw from, you know, going all the way back to PS1 stuff. Whereas, you know, Xbox has a couple of Xbox One games you might be interested in, but most of that's just the last generation.
I'm sorry. Oh, you mean Xbox original, the original Xbox
Yeah.
games. Gotcha. We can't call it Xbox One.
Yeah, I keep doing that.
Xbox Prime I like a lot.
I guess.
Xbox Origins.
Yeah.
Xbox Origin games. Yeah. I think there's a lot. I think there are. Well, shoot. Didn't when they first started putting out Xbox Prime games on Xbox 360? How long did that last? Are they still doing
they
it?
kept up with it for a while, but they
Yeah.
stopped doing it eventually.
Yeah, it's just okay, here's Halo 2, everybody, and everyone's really pumped. And then here's Halo 1, and we're just you're right, I don't know how far beyond that
But
goes.
that's another good point, though, too, is, will they have multiplayer functionality for some of these older games?
I think they've said they will. It's so strange. It'll save your save states.
Mm-hmm.
And what? They
That'd
even...
be sweet, like an old SOCOM game, playing.
Yeah, that's what I
multiplayer,
mean.
oh,
Like,
that'd be
would
great.
they actually run servers for those?
Wow, that's a really good question. For games that have already... Their servers are shut down.
Yeah.
Okay, so for PS3 games, yes, the servers are still running, and you can actually, on your PS4 streaming, play with people playing the PS3 ones. But that's really interesting about the PS2 games. There's so many people who miss SOCOM.
Yeah.
I
Missed a good SOCOM.
Which is a good one? Do you know which one is a good one?
Isn't 2?
I feel like 2. I feel like it's 2.
Like the
I never got
penultimate?
into SOCOM, so.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But I remember that was
It's
the first one,
hardcore.
on PS2. That was one of the only really popular multiplayer games on PS2. But I think that's wishful thinking. I don't think any of them will work
Yeah.
in multiplayer. But
Cool.
still be fun.
That'd be a super positive of PlayStation now. If that's the thing that surfaces.
it could be. It just depends on the policy. It just depends on how they do it. But again, as long as they have the technology, they can change whatever policy they want. They can change the pricing if it works in their favor. It's just cool that this technology exists that you can stream stuff now.
Yeah, you're right. And I can still go to Game Dude, and you can still stream, and both of those things still exist. It's a nice thing.
I mean, what's a price point that you guys would think would be reasonable for the service?
Oh, what would
Do
you
have
pay?
one? Yeah, do you have one in mind?
Oh my gosh. Well, so I don't think I would ever do the individuals. You know what I mean? When I can just go and buy the game for as much. But if it's another $10 a month to play all the games, I don't know. Maybe 8. 8 is what I pay for Netflix and Hulu Plus. Where are you? Where are all you standing?
I mean,
More than 10
I'm
is rough, I
not
think.
honestly involved in any of those things because, generally, my game time is kind of scattered. So, monthly things that they just kind of make me feel like I have to go on and use them.
Yeah, I
I
hear
just
that,
stress
yeah.
out about it.
I think if it was something if you already have PlayStation Plus, you get a discounted rate
That'd be
that
cool.
you can
yeah,
add
I
on
like
to your
that.
PlayStation Plus subscription would be kind of cool. I mean, we think about, I love PlayStation Plus, but I mean, if I canceled my subscription right now, those are all rental games
They're
that
all
I have
gone.
gotten for free.
Well, the ones, yeah,
So-
the ones you got for free are all gone.
So
yeah.
I think if I think about it in that respect, that if these are all rentals and I cancel my subscription, they were lost, then I guess it's
And I picture a
Yeah,
lot
that's
of
what
them.
I'm doing
I
now.
picture a lot of them being free bonuses too in the future.
Oh,
Sign
yeah,
up for
they'll
PlayStation
definitely
Plus
do that.
now
Yeah.
and get Final Fantasy VII free.
Yeah, a little rental. Oh my gosh. Anyway, moving on. We have to do a little self-promotion because GameTrailers Ultimate Game Preview is nearly here. Origins. Ultimate Game Preview Prime Origins. Okay. But Bloodworth, please explain to everyone what the Ultimate Game Preview is.
Yeah, so basically it's kind of the inverse. We just got done with the Game of the Year awards, and now it's time to flip the switch, and instead of looking back, we're looking forward. And so we've got 4 videos coming up, basically focused on different genres and saying, okay, here's what sort of maybe will come out in 2014. We think these games are going to come out in 2014. And just kind of getting out there and digging in and seeing, because it's kind of funny because after the holiday break and everything, people bring up all right, what are your anticipated games for 2014? And Witcher 3 and what else is coming out? Because we've been so focused on looking back at 2013. And now it's okay, let's start looking at these lists and it's oh yeah, that game's great and that game's great. And then I always get a kick out of it because I end up doing the racing games. I get to go out there and look for games and find out about stuff. I put out a thing on Twitter. It was hey, what's coming out? Anything I might miss. And somebody's next car game. I'm what the crap's next car game? And it's the guys that do Flat Out, they're making another crazy destruction game.
Bugbear, correct?
Bugbear, yeah.
So what is Flat Out? I don't even know what Flat Out is.
Flat Out was
Flat Out.
Yeah.
Brandon, you explain
Yeah.
what Flat Out
Yeah.
is. What is that?
There were only 2 major Flat Out games, right?
Yeah, I think there was a portable one too. Yeah, just 2 main ones.
Oh no, they had Flat Out 1 and 2, and then they had a next gen version, Flat Out Carnage or Ultimate Carnage or something. Flat Out's just a really very Carnage oriented, like lots of slamming into stuff, lots of car damage. It kind of like took the reins from Burnout. Like Burnout got more race centric, and I kind of miss like the making accidents happen and stuff. And so the races were lots of like, oh no, lots of tons of 2x4s are smashing up on everything. And then half the game, which really made it a hit in the office when the first Flat Out came out, was they showed some of the tech demo. They had games where you would there'd be a bunch of basketball hoops and you would have to like jump the truck off and like land in one of the hoops.
Oh, so that's part of Flat Out as well.
There was one,
That's cool.
had a spring-loaded jump and you had to like go through, you had to like hit a target or do stuff.
Yeah, because like when Bloodworth mentioned this game, next car game we call it.
Yeah.
Like the first trailer I watched is like a serious, like okay, it's got like a good damage engine or whatever. And then then the second trailer where you're watching it like jump into basketball hoops, and then I watched like some Let's Plays of it, and just like there's a spider robot that'll smash you.
Yeah.
There's no reason to put that in any racing game, but like they did it anyway because it's fun to watch
Or
a car get smashed.
the grinders are like when they go through the grinders, they come out the other side, and it's just like a hunk of metal with a wheel spinning on the side.
Yeah. What a fun thing to do with a serious car engine, and I really like appreciate that about this game.
Yeah, I feel like this is the year when like everyone's like bringing back like just crazy arcade racer ideas. Like there's guys that are basically making a sequel to Road Rash called Road Redemption. There's
is that going to be an Ultimate Game Preview? Road Redemption? I like that.
There's a lot of cool stuff coming. The 90s arcade racer, which is kind of bringing back the Daytona USA feel, and so
the rise of like the racing games that are like dumb fun is a good thing, I think.
yeah.
Dumb fun is a good way to describe Flat Out. But
so then I think you'll be into next car game if you really like Flat Out.
I'm really into it. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that at all. You sent the an email out.
Yeah,
to
and then
prep for that,
digging around, we found this other crazy thing, the Dog Sled Saga. I know that you were.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it.
I mean, I'm not even sure how into it I am. It's just like, okay, this is different.
At least watched it and like puts off her headphones and goes, I really like. Is it Sled Dog Saga or Dog Sled Saga?
Dog Sled Saga.
Dog Sled Saga.
Look, I'm throwing treats to my dogs. I'm not whipping them.
Yeah.
I'm checking their happiness at the end of every round. It's incredible. I was thoroughly enjoying it.
Are you high on this too?
You got to, I'm high on it.
Wow.
You got other racers like in the background. And you get there's a sense of competition going on, but there's not like animosity. If you were to if you were to see them at the end of the day around the campfire, like you wouldn't sabotage them. You wouldn't like make one of the sides of their sleigh weak. So they would crash.
Yeah.
You would welcome them by your fire with your warm pups.
So like what the game has for it, Dog Sled Saga, is like a really good trailer, I feel like.
Yeah.
But a trailer for what seems to me like a very boring game.
It can get a little redundant.
Wait, have you played it? Have you played
I watched just a play of it. And they're still working on it though. Like it's not.
There's all sorts of modes.
If that's what they've got done now, who knows? When the $5 beta, the $10 beta comes out.
Is there more to the game than throwing dog biscuits at your dogs?
There's gonna be more to it, Kyle.
Well, yeah, there's like this
There's a whole Oregon Trail survival
management
mode.
Is there?
No.
Oh, okay. Because then
Everyone gets dysentery at the end of it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the dogs like lick you back to health.
Yeah.
I know that they talked about like you're actually rising through leagues, and then even the trailer said something about like having to like
upgrade your team.
Yeah, like train your dogs and like between races if you're not good enough for a race and.
Like that is cool, but then when you're back in the race, you're just throwing dog treats at them. Is my perception of the game.
Right. But it's all about again. You were saying it's all about the trailer. Like, how much better is that trailer than somebody like, hi, like I made this game, and I'm on Kickstarter, and if you could like fund the game,
Yeah. How would
make
you?
something that's like, this game is silly. We know it is.
Yeah.
We just made it because it cracks us up. And
Yeah.
it was the kind of thing that like it was the it's not the greatest idea in the world, but it was a good enough idea that every time we came back to it, we kept wanting to work on it. They obviously seem very excited about the project.
As a game trailer connoisseur, Brandon, how would
Yeah.
you rate that trailer?
It's maybe between a 7 and an 8. I don't know.
Oh, we're giving a number value.
Okay. Trailer Academy.
7.8.
Oh no, give it a grade. As like the professor of Trailer Academy, give it a grade.
I'll give it a B.
Wow,
It's a
cool.
B trailer.
Nice.
Because it knows what it is. It's short. It's like a minute 20, so it doesn't waste your time.
Yeah.
I thought the VO was lovely.
It is really
You're
good
not
VO,
just
actually.
staring at the footage full frame. Like there's lots of nice zooms, some good quality. Some moments they kind of zoom in on. You're like, will the game do that? Are these cutscenes I'm looking at, or is it just what is this game?
Yeah.
A lot of intrigue.
I think that's important. A
for
game
the
knowing
trailer.
what it is essential.
And there's also
Yep.
a sense of like, are they screwing with me? Like, is there actually more to this than I think there
That
is?
that is honestly what I felt
Or
the
is
entire
it-
time.
Yeah, it's like Tim and Eric. You're just like, what are you, I think I'm mostly with you, but I'm not sure. And like
Yeah.
if you can pull that off, that's really great. So
Yeah, I'm curious about the saga bit. Like, how is there like
Yeah.
some kind of an ongoing story drama going on?
Yeah, like a dog breaks its legs and just tearfully you have to like.
Whoa, yeah.
I think that's yeah. That's they said they were.
I think they
gonna
did
add
say
that.
something about like, yeah, if your dog's just not doing well, you're just gonna have to get rid of it and
Yeah.
get a new dog.
Are you prepared to kill a?
Absolutely.
Your dog
If
died?
that is honestly,
I don't
there's
think you
like
have to
no way
kill
I could
it.
ever do that.
No, you have to kill it.
Okay, then no, strong pass on that game. All right, next segment, smaller news bits. Is the name of this segment. Just where we're covering little news bits. This week, Metal Gear writer, producer, director Hideo Kojima tweeted that Ground Zeroes is both. He tweeted this. Is both a prologue to Metal Gear Solid 5 story and at the same time a tutorial for the new Metal Gear Solid. He said it's a relatively small field compared to the main game, which is hundreds of times larger.
I like how he says relatively and then hundreds of
Hundreds.
times.
Hundreds of, yeah. Ground Zeroes is coming this March, digitally for $30, retail for $40. Is this just a super expensive demo?
what do you think?
I have no real input on this other than yes, absolutely. Tear it down.
Tear it down? Like when Dead Rising 2, before that came out, they had, what is it called, Zero Story?
Dead Rising Zero or
Case
something.
Zero?
Case Zero. Good, 2 thumbs up for that. I feel like Ground Zeroes might be that, just way more expensive.
Right.
Is that what we're about to see this
I
March?
mean, the thing is, I've always had this like weird sense of every time they show that game, they're showing like the same way of like walking into the base. So I'm just getting this impression like, is Ground Zeroes just this base?
It might be, because
And it's
hundreds
like
of
you
times,
just attack it like 40 different ways,
and it's got, apparently like several missions within it. No day-night cycle, but like some missions will be daytime and some will be nighttime. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about it as a huge Metal Gear Solid fan.
It's interesting that you brought up Case Zero though, because I liked that a lot.
Me
And I
too.
didn't end up playing Dead Rising 2. I got like an hour into Dead Rising 2. It's
And what's
like,
crazy-
I'm tired of this.
I remember at the time, like the headlines would be like Case Zero, the most downloaded thing on Xbox Live to date. How crazy was that?
That is weird.
Yeah, like it was super successful and then just never tried again.
I think it's like in terms of like I looked at that as a treat. It was like, oh, I got to wait so long for this game, but hey, I get this thing ahead of time.
Yeah.
And like they're making so much press about Ground Zeroes, and to show specifically footage from that so early, that's like the first time you're going to see Phantom Pain. I'm going to show you Ground Zeroes.
Yeah.
So we've been like stuck with Ground Zeroes for so long that it's like, we're getting excited again about something that's just like a base at the end of the day. Whereas if we didn't know anything about it and hadn't seen that base, and it's like 3-4 months before the game comes out, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's this bonus thing, you're gonna get to play this now.
Right.
And it's
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah,
cool,
yeah,
some
you're
advance
right.
on it.
Gosh.
But we've been like living with this stupid base and the kid and the cells and even in the Phantom Pain trailer that they had at E3, they like went back to that base where the guy gets
Yeah.
shot. He's got the bag on his head and being waterboarded, like.
So how long have we known about Ground Zeroes? It's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's been as
yeah,
long
it's
as we've
like
heard
a
about
year and a
anything
half.
involved with the project.
Yeah. So I definitely get that
So-
distinction.
Do you-
Totally.
Do you look at it from the perspective of the implications between these two games? This means that Ground Zeroes is going to be a small game comparatively, or that do you look at it from the glass is half filled side of Phantom Pain's going to be huge?
Oh, because the hundreds of times?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want a Metal Gear Solid game that's huge. I don't want a Skyrim-sized Metal Gear Solid game, particularly. Do you? Do any of you?
Well, AC4 is huge,
Right.
but the fast travel system is really smart. So, like, I think if you can make a map enormous as long as you let me get around it really fast if I need to.
And I think you can. I think they'll
Yeah.
have helicopters. You can.
I always
just
like
hop
the
in and out
concept.
of
It's
it.
like if you haven't been there, you have to travel there so you can appreciate the scenery while you're going there. And then when you get there, you can go back anytime you want.
Yeah,
And
I
so-
mean,
So you
it is weird to imagine an open world game with stealth, but I think one good example is Far Cry 3. Where you kind of
Oh,
had like
sure,
these
yeah.
big open world, but then you had these bases, and then you had to figure out like, okay, what's the best like line to take just to get into the base, so that I can get through without being spotted. And if you could get through that base without ever getting spotted or raising an alarm, that was like really satisfying.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that Phantom Pain has that kind of approach to where it's like, okay, I can scout it out, I can plan my route of attack, and then go in there. The one thing from the E3 trailer that always bugs me, it still seems really weird, is when he's on horseback and he like kind of ducks down
on the side.
Like,
Yeah.
Like you're still a horse. Like there's a horse going by. Somebody's seeing that.
Because that guy like went some other place, and then that night they heard like, did you hear that whole base that you left today got taken down? And he was like, I bet it was that horse.
I wish that had been that horse. That's so
Horse
funny.
had a look
There was
to him.
something about that horse I didn't like.
That's so funny because
But I
when
let
I
him
watch
go.
something like
Stupid.
that, the child in me is like, oh, cool thing you can do, and then you're just like, no,
It
it's
is a
stupid.
horse.
Yeah. Next story. Eurogamer Polygon Joystick was reporting on this week. Some changes from the Japanese version of Bravely Default to the Western versions. Some costumes got less revealing. One was like a little skimpy underwear that turned into shorts, and it's like some belts got added. Also, some innuendos taken out. And what I think is probably most interesting, all the teenage characters were aged up 3 years. The 15-year-olds are now 18, and the 17-year-old is now 20.
Huh.
Do we call that censorship or localization?
Totally localization. They've been doing that since the very first Final Fantasy weren't there like upside down crosses and stuff? Like
Oh, well, that was.
oh no, they're just crosses.
Yeah.
The medic thing had a cross on it, and they changed it to like a staff or something.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Nintendo
It's like
has
it's
done
magic.
that
It's
for a
not
long
stopping
time.
with the crosses.
Oh, even like, didn't Link have a cross shield?
Maybe.
Yeah, I feel like. Or,
I think that might have been in some of the concept art. Yeah.
Yeah. And he had, I guess, like a book with a cross on it. Yeah, because that's how I feel. The weird part to me is just simply changing the age to a character, but not changing the character model or the art. So, like,
Right.
this person in Japan
Well, that's
is
called
15,
Hollywood
and then
style.
this person
Yeah.
is 18.
It's whatever connotation comes with it. I felt it was excessive to do both. They could have just done one or the other, I guess. They could have just made them 20 and then,
then
they're
kept the
dressed
skimpy outfits.
they're dressed skimpily clad. I would have been fine with that. I love
I get what
the
you're
like
saying,
I love just the overt hypersexualization of Japanese culture because they're super like subdued in so many ways. I just love it. And
So wait, if it was your call, which would you have done?
I would have just raised their ages.
Okay, kept the skimpiness?
Kept the skimpy because
That's so
they're
funny.
also they're not like extremely life-like.
No, not at all.
sprites.
Yeah, I
They're-
guess we should explain that. They're
They're
not lifelike
they're
at
weird,
all.
like
Yeah.
But
Like-
okay, so here's the. I mean, I think
almost
part of
not
the.
sexual.
I think part of the hard thing for me to judge this on is because like I don't know the context of how this is portrayed in the game. Like I don't
Oh,
know if
that's
like
true.
they're just skimpy outfits. Like because like what Pokemon, the Pokemon cartoons, like ridiculously skimpy outfits for kids walking
Are you
around.
talking about Misty?
Yeah. But if it's like it's not really sexualized unless you
Not at
go
all,
there,
no.
But so that's what I wonder is like is it just like it's just more acceptable for characters because of art style or whatever to have skimpy outfits in Japan, whereas here people are more likely to
Raise
worry
a
about
Tinder.
that or worry
Take
about
it
Well,
that.
it's the
the
comparison
next-
of like, is the kid that's playing it going to think about this, or is the lawyer that's approving everything
Right.
from the state's going to be thinking about it?
Yeah.
Like that lawyer doesn't own a 3DS, I assure you,
Yeah.
or a Wii U.
What's weird is like I'm like all on board for it in a weird way. Like I'm like, yeah, age them up. The costumes look better to me, I think, as like short shorts and the weird little
I guess there's more
underwear.
detail to them and
Kind of.
whatever, I don't know.
At least want some kept skimpy though, is the official stance on that one. Earlier this week, Respawn studio head Frank Zampella confirmed on Twitter that Titanfall multiplayer matches
Oh.
would be no more
Vince
than
Zampella.
6-on-6. What did I say? Frank Zampella. That's stupid. You're right, Vince Zampella. I didn't write it
Frankie.
down. I said I had the word ahead. Anyway.
Sorry, I just don't want anyone,
No, thank you. I really appreciate that. Is that a big deal to any of us that Titanfall will only be 6-on-6 and no more than that? It's a big deal to the internet. I should precede this with.
Oh yeah.
But there's all of the spawning dudes running around, and the
Oh
Titans.
yeah. There are like little AI dudes.
Technically, with the Titans, it's 12
Yeah,
on
I
12.
think maybe that's it. Is it's given an illusion
what
that
I
it's
did
a
there?
bigger game than that. Whereas like I know there's like a lot of times that it's better to have smaller gameplay, or smaller amount of players, in certain games. But I'm actually one of the few people that hasn't played Titanfall yet in this office.
Are you? Who's played Titanfall here at this table?
At this table, none of us have.
None of us.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you're fine. You're fine amongst this
But
company.
so, anyways, it just I've definitely seen plenty of games that that's better for them to have a smaller number of players.
That's
But
that's
it
my
feels like a
opinion
bigger
on it.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a decision like they're like, we tried for 12, it just wasn't possible. It's like, no,
Yeah.
this is what we built. This
Yeah,
is the
exactly.
system.
It's
Trust
in
us,
the model of their game.
we've been playing this a lot. It works. The numbers are really good. The
Yeah.
whole team's totally jazzed about these numbers. If it was some technical glitch or there was some story behind it, why it's like, we thought next gen would do this, but it's not, or we thought the Xbox One could hack it, but there's no way.
Yeah, and I guess I get the other stance. I get this, like, it's definitely a different feeling when you're up against so many other people. You know what I mean? You feel like all of these human beings are on the same map together. Like, I get that, and I get why someone would desire that.
But the way
Of
I
course.
heard it described was, when you're on a smaller team like this, everyone can feel like a winner, and they're contributing. Like
Yeah.
you don't just feel like you're collateral.
Oh, I definitely felt like that,
Did
actually.
it?
And yeah, like, what you win, and I'm like, oh, I didn't feel like I helped at
No.
all. Yeah. I felt, that will
This
happen in
tighter
Battlefield
unit.
sometimes.
Has anyone that's played it said that they thought it was too
No,
small a
that's what's so
scope?
funny is that's when everyone played it, they played 6-on-6, and it
Yeah.
wasn't a news story until it just was confirmed on
Right.
Twitter. You know? It wasn't a news story until until the people who haven't played it heard about it, right? I guess that's
Yeah.
what it is.
I think if you get that game, if you get like a 12 or 16 or 32 player thing, you essentially get PlanetSide 2, right? Which is like, ships that you can jump into and hop out of. It's that. It's just
Yeah.
not that great of a game because it's not this kind of intimate, amazing experience that these guys are capable of based on like the amazing shooters that they've made. I trust them. Again, I don't think it's something that was an error on their part or something that they like had some lofty goal they didn't achieve. I think that's the game.
Or hardware limitations is what everyone is expecting
Right.
first. I don't
And,
think
and
it's that. Yeah.
it's unprecedented. Like you've never had a game like Titanfall, so it's not like, well, hey, this other mech game did more than 6-on-6. It's like
it's not that unprecedented.
well, just the style, like being able to run around, like specifically the style of like having parkour and jumping around, like all those systems in play in the same game. They've never really done that before.
The greater Titanfall concern I saw recently was that they haven't confirmed who's developing it for the 360. Actually,
Oh.
and I'm like, why is everyone's talking
You're right.
about?
They have said we're
the
outsourcing
66?
it, but you're right. Respawn's really been hands off on
Yeah.
that, and that's probably the version that will sell the most. Is the creepy thing.
I think
Right.
so.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, at least we should get on that. Who's making that game?
I think like murmurings were like, oh, there are some people internally that are working on it, but that's not enough.
No, it's not.
Like they need to. I don't know. But yeah, we should.
If you at home want to figure out who is making that
Call
game,
this hotline.
let us know. Tweet at us. But anyway, that is the end of our episode.
You said we weren't going to get through all the questions.
And we didn't, yeah. Because I have the Steam box. We could have talked about those, but like, why
Yeah.
bother?
Curved
Steam
TVs.
machines.
Yeah, buy one if you want one. Anyway, these are our Twitter names. And next week will be the last episode of Invisible Walls. I don't know if we're doing anything special or just another little
Isn't
half-hour
it kind of
conversation.
your responsibility to figure out if we're doing something special? Right
Yeah,
now?
what are we doing,
It's,
Kyle?
it's kind of my responsibility, but then like Ryan, checks her. Like it's his fault. This is only a half hour, just to make everything clear. Ryan said, "Yeah, you can do it, but no more than a half hour." So that's what this is. Yeah, we'll be the last episode of Invisible Walls, and then the week after that, a new exciting show from GameTrailers.com to look forward to. Trademark Brandon Jones. But anyway, thanks for joining us this week, and please continue to comment and tell us how to fix everything that's wrong with because we do listen. We are listening.
We're stuck in limbo.
That's why we got rid of the toys in the background. We got so many comments about like, oh, too many toys. Like, fine, they're gone.
We actually got rid of them. We threw them all away.
Yeah,
they're
they're all-
actually in the trash now. We hope you're happy.
There were like children next to the garbage can. We said, no, not for you. Apparently these toys are garbage, if the comments are correct. But anyway, thank you. Any final words from any of you?
Well, thanks for having me on. This is my first Invisible Walls.
Yeah.
And last.
Better late than never.
That's actually, like, the comments are just like, add women to your show. And it's like, yes, so it was nice to have you, Elise.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And I would have said Frank Zampella unchecked if it weren't for you.
That's right.
That one's for you, Vince.
There is some Frank Zampella out there watching who's like, oh.
Anyway, that's got to be the show. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.
See this and other GT shows and game reviews on the GT Originals iOS app, available now on the App Store.